Liverpool win 3-0 against Leeds United at Ellen Road, but the day will, of course, be remembered for a horrific and heartbreaking injury suffered by the very talented, the very, very brilliant Harvey Elliott, a tackle made from the Leeds United defender, Pascal Struijk, and it did end with what very much looks like a leg break or an ankle break. Very, very heart-wrenching for, of course, all Liverpool fans, the Liverpool players, and everybody surrounding Liverpool Football Club. You can see the distress across all 22 players on the field of play, the medical staff, and, of course, the Leeds United players, their teams as well, the fans in the stadium. Just want to wish from the off here, Harvey Elliott, a speedy recovery. He's young, and you would think and you would hope from this point he'll recover. The medical science is so good now around these types of injuries. I wouldn't be surprised to see him back this season, all things being well. We've seen it before, players coming back from these breaks. Gomez at Everton a couple of seasons back. So I just want to wish him all the very best. Overall, a very good performance from Liverpool today. They won't be celebrating tonight because of this situation, no doubt, but they can be very proud of their performance. They can be very proud of the way they played. They can be very proud of the way they toyed and dismantled Leeds United. We're going to delve into that and much, much more. We do want to have a debate with you as well, though, because social media is trending. We're here to give fans a voice. What's the trending topics? We want to talk about how good Liverpool were today. We are going to touch on Leeds United. Are they, maybe looking at relegation this year? They haven't been as potent. They haven't really clicked into gear at all this season. They find themselves in a very precarious position down there, teetering just above relegation, just 2 points in their opening 4 games. And I do want to discuss the situation with Harvey Elliott, because the majority of people I'm seeing on socials are saying they understand why it was a red, but they're saying that this tackle isn't a red card tackle. It was an accident. Should it be rescinded? Is it fair on the defender of Leeds United? Or do you believe, look, it was reckless, irrespective of intent, irrespective of the fact this kind of tackle is made 3, 4, 5 times in every game, at every level, every match? If the accident happens, you've therefore endangered your opponent. It's serious foul play and you should suffer that red card. I do want your views. I do want your opinions on that, ladies and gentlemen. Do me a big favor and smash that like button, people. This is the Football Terrace. It's the highlight show. Let's jump straight into it, people. Let's go. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. We're going to go straight into your comments here. And it's such a mixed bag from people already. It really, really is. Abs here says, no way, a red. You've got red card definitely from Aaron here. You've got definitely a red card. You've got red. And then you've got CJ here, never a red. As I say, it's very, very split amongst people. Currently, right now, 50% of the vote that we have going on is calling it a red card. And I'm intrigued to talk about this because I want to understand people's rationale behind why they think it is a red card or why they don't think it is. We're going to open up the lines for you to phone up and have your say. I'm just going to put my opinion out there from the off, and I'm going to be really blunt about this. It's a red card for me. It may be an accident, but intent doesn't matter. Intent doesn't matter. There's a red card that Liverpool suffered a few years ago, and I said the same thing there, so I'll be consistent. When Mane put a high boot in the air and he kicked Man City's goalkeeper Henderson in the face, I think he suffered something like 7 or 8 stitches in his face, a terrible gash. There was no intent. He didn't mean to do it. There wasn't any aggression, but he endangered his opponent. And Pascal today, it wasn't that bad a tackle. Yes, that he lunges in from behind though, and unfortunately lands on Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott's studs appear to get stuck in the grass, and it leads to horrific injury. And I think it's very, very harsh because there's no intent. But I always feel like that when a player gets a red card, when they don't put in what I would call a dangerous tackle per se. And we know it isn't a dangerous tackle per se because Cooper performed the same tackle 5 minutes later on Mane. He just didn't land on the player's ankle. It was an accident, but I still think because he's endangered the opponent, clearly endangered his opponent, he broke his leg or broke his ankle, he has to be reprimanded, in my opinion. But I'm open to, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you feel in relation to that. We've got some super chats here. It says, I honestly don't get all this Leeds hype. They are the most overhyped team in the EPL. All they do is run around like headless chickens. I mean, that's another point. I mean, I'm going to talk about Leeds United a little bit later. And if I'm being honest, I was saying it last season and they had a very good back end to the campaign. I'm not that impressed with Leeds United. There are times when they look brilliant. They're exhilarating. Do you know what they remind me of? They remind me of like the Fast and Furious franchise. They're not great films, but the graphics and the cars and the adrenaline make it kind of entertaining. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to win an Oscar. They're not going to win a BAFTA. They're not going to get no critical acclaim. They're just good fun movies. They're like the Fast and the Furious franchise. That's what they remind me of more than anything, if I'm being completely honest with you. Leeds are so dirty, is what Dean says. Terry, if there's no intent, why send him off? Well, intent, there doesn't need to be intent. Intent isn't part of the law. Intent is not part of the law as far as I'm aware. JC says, Elliott isn't a great person anyway. He was making fun of Maguire's lisp and also emotionally abusing his girlfriend for following his friends on Instagram, is what JC has got to say. I mean, I don't know anything about that personally, so it's very hard for me to comment on that. Tierman here says, Leeds fans chanting the 96 won't be missed and always the victims and the red. What the F? Fair play to the majority who clapped him off. Abdi here says, that's not a red card offence. Can't help that Elliott's standing foot gets caught underneath his trailing leg. And listen, I understand that interpretation. I really do. Is it because he tackled from behind, or is he taking that risk? That is the big question. Yeah, you cannot come from behind, break an ankle, and not be at fault. I mean, that's just it. Like, it's an accident, but you are still at fault. I still think it's a red. Alan here said it was the result of the tackle that was a red, not the tackle itself. Ref had waved play on until he was aware of the injury sustained. And that's where the debate comes in. It's a great comment there by Alan, one of our members here at the Terrace. By the way, if you're watching over on Give Me Sport on Facebook, thank you. Make sure that like button is smashed. Come and subscribe to us over here on YouTube at the Football Terrace. That would be great. This is where the debate comes in for me. This is where the debate comes in. And I want to talk about it. We're going to open up the lines and hear from you. This is where I want the debate to take place. Should it only be a red card if someone gets hurt, or should the tackle be outlawed? And if it's only a red card if a player gets hurt, it means, what does that mean? That's where I suppose the confusion comes in, because most people are saying, including the ref, that it was a clean tackle. It's only because an accident happened in the tackle that a red card was given. I suppose that's down to everybody's interpretation as to whether or not they think that is right, or if they think that is wrong. I mean, I suppose his accident. I remember when it happened. The Arsenal goalie busted his knee when Mupay pushed him, and the way he landed, his leg twisted. You had Arsenal fans screaming that should be a red card because it was the result of the push. The push is not a red card offence, but the injury that he suffered because of the push. Should it be? I suppose that's where the debate comes in, and we want to hear from you today on the Football Terrace. Let's do some pure accident, no red card, is what's said here by Richard over on Give Me Sport. We have another super chat here that says, Mo Salah, 100 club and 5th quickest ever to 100 Premier League goals. Another strong to his legacy bow. Premier League legend in the making, deserves even more respect. You'll never walk alone. We will get onto Mo Salah a little bit later on in the show. Everyone knows, I think he's been, the last 4 or 5 years especially, he's been the very best inside forward in the league. I know I didn't really get involved in the debate show on the Terrace last week, but for me, better than, since Cristiano Ronaldo, he's been the best attacker in the league, above everybody, because of the consistency. He's been the best attacking player in the Premier League since Cristiano Ronaldo. He's an absolute phenomenon of a player. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Make sure that like button's being smashed, ladies and gentlemen. Your calls are coming very soon. Dinesh says, evening, Terry. Liverpool and Man United showed that when you play open against world-class forwards, they score. And Liverpool should have scored 5, 6, 7 goals today. I would still be a little bit concerned today as a Liverpool fan about the clinical edge of my team. Too many golden opportunities missed. But Leeds United infuriate me. Why be that open? I know that it's almost like this honor in losing in that way. There's no honor in losing. There's no honor in losing when you lose because of stupidity. And that's what this is for Leeds United. It's stupidity. It's Instagram FC. You know, Instagram where people post pictures like they're living the high life, like they're living an amazing life and everything's amazing, but really behind the scenes, they're struggling. They're sad. That's Leeds. It looks great when you're up against, we're going to go toe-to-toe with the big boys. But they get embarrassed invariably. The irony is, when they played defensively against Man City towards the end of last season, they nicked the game. And that for me is so much more tangible and something more to celebrate than opening up against Liverpool and Man United and shipping, 30, 40 chances in those games and conceding 7 or 8 goals. There's no honor in that. None whatsoever. Absolutely none whatsoever. I still don't understand why Chelsea Football Club are in front of Liverpool in the FPL table. Well, I haven't had a look at. Well, they're on the same goal difference. Well, yeah, everyone's on the same goal difference, and that'll be because Chelsea's head-to-head record will probably count as better right now, or it's mathematical, alphabetical. It may be that Chelsea got a draw at Anfield, and that's seen as a more favourable result, or it's because they begin with a C and Liverpool begins with an L. The reason that Man United are ahead is because Man United scored more, so it goes on goal difference than goals scored. But yeah, how tight that is at the top of the league is absolutely crazy. Oh, it's because of alphabetical. There we go. It's alphabetical then. That's why. I said one of the two. I'm amazed how pathetic some people are, bad-mouthing an 18-year-old player whose future has been put in jeopardy. I am not even a fan of Liverpool, but what people are saying here is shameful. Grow up. Listen, I haven't actually seen much of that in the comments. I'm not reading every single comment, though. Look, Harvey Elliott's definitely made some mistakes in his young life. What youngster hasn't? And to hold that kind of against him and almost try and make it sound like he deserves to break his ankle or leg because of some silly things he's done in the past, for me, is just ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous to do it. So if I see any of that in the comments, you're going to be timed out, no doubt. Keep it respectful, please. You can disagree that it was a red card. You can think that, that Leeds have been screwed over by the referee. I don't necessarily think that's an attack on Liverpool or Harvey Elliott. But to turn around and say that if anyone in here is saying that Harvey Elliott deserves this, shame on you. Absolutely shame on you. KC here says, for people who cry about the game being too soft, you are to blame for this. Stupid laws about ref ignoring tackles should be rescinded, is what KC's got to say here. Terry, what do you think of Fabinho? Never seen you talk about him. What's your thoughts? Wanted him at Man United, one of the best holding midfield players. I've said it on this show so many times, one of the best holding midfield players in the world. Absolutely sensational. Sensational. Absolutely sensational. 1 second here. I'm just waiting because Belly, anybody. Where are these guys at? Where are these guys at? Where are these guys at? Hang on. Tell me a second. There we go. Right. Let's do a few more of your comments that are coming through here. No, hang on a sec. Yeah, nice. Okay, so there's some super chats I've got to do. Sorry. Gutted for young Harvey. Decent win. Should do better up front. CR7 looking like madness, but I love it. Sweet. When we beat them is what Carl's got to say. Iron here says, according to Liverpool fans, Salah over Hazard because he scored more goals than him, but the same yardstick doesn't apply when it comes to Frank versus Stevie G. Well, as you all know, that's why my stuff, that's why I can't you never see me on the football terrace yield on my morality when it comes to why or how I rate a particular player. You've never seen it once. You'll never ever see it. I do put Lampard above Steven Gerrard because, one, that goal scoring record is sensational, and he won more major trophies. Those two things they weigh heavy. They weigh heavy indeed. I put Mo Salah above Eden Hazard, not because I hate Eden Hazard, but what Mo Salah has achieved is sensational in the English game. Someone just said Salah getting 100 Premier League goals is not good for English football. People really can't stand that an Arab man is one of the best in the Premier League. Listen, I mean, in fairness, I don't really think about his nationality, if I'm being honest. I think about his legacy in the English game. Mo Salah is a credit to this league. Mo Salah is a sensational football player. Mo Salah it should be celebrated in every single which way. There's no doubt about that. He's an absolute, it's an honor to have him on. Absolute honor to have him on the field of play in the Premier League. Like, I don't really want him at Liverpool. If I'm being really blunt, I don't want him at Liverpool Football Club. But there we go. Right, we're going to start going to the calls, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to share the link with you. I want to wait for the Football Terrace panelists to kind of get here before I fill it up with yourselves, being respectful to them. Call in now. I'm going to share the link in the live chat. I'm going to pin it to the live chat as well. You will come on and have your say. And it's probably going to end up becoming a Mo Salah hazard debate again, but that'll be later on in the show. I want to hear your thoughts and I want to hear your feelings on the Harvey Elliott situation as well today. Smash that like and share button. Everyone watching over on Give Me Sport, thank you. Come and join us right now live on the Football Terrace. There is a link on the post you're looking at for you to come here and join us. If you can't see that, I will post the link for the YouTube show in the comments section now. So come and join us over here. The link's available here for you to come on and have your say. So come and join us. First caller of the day is going to be LFC Sonny, Liverpool fan in the house, ready to have his say on the Football Terrace. Let's do this, people. Let's go. Sonny's here with me. Tragic afternoon for young Harvey Elliott. Give me your thoughts first of all on all the kind of fallout in relation to that. You know, do you think it was a red? Do you think it was a reckless tackle? And everything else, mate? What's your thoughts?
I think this is the first time ever where we've won the game 3-0, and I genuinely feel like we've just been battered 5-0. Leeds United, shame on you. Leeds United are a disgrace. Bielsa, Struijk, however you pronounce his name, everyone associated with Leeds United are a disgrace. To go in on an 18-year-old from behind, and I see people saying that is not a red card. In what sense is that not a red card? You go in from behind someone, that is a red all day long. That's like me walking in Asda and like deciding to folly a baby on its head. It's illegal. Going behind on an 18-year-old, putting in a challenge like that, it should be illegal. I'm surprised if it's not illegal. Harvey Elliott has possibly just had his career ended before it's begun. And that's all because of Leeds United. I can't even focus. Salah's reached 100 goals today. Salah's literally my favourite player, probably ever, ahead of Gerrard, ahead of anyone. And I can't even enjoy that today because the team we played are absolutely disgusting in Leeds United. I just, for me, everything about Leeds, some of the chants that was going on, Bielsa's tactics, the fact that they're the most overrated team in the country, everything about Leeds United I despise. And today, it's just gone from here to there. And what annoys me even more is the fact that some people are trying to say that's not a red card. If that happens to your team, you do not hear one fan saying that's not a red card. It's a red all day. And if there's an option for it to be like a more of a disciplinary reaction, you need to get that straight away. Because for me, especially the fact he's 18, he's got his whole life ahead of him, let alone his career. And that might have just been ended today due to some stupid tackle from a Leeds United player. For me, Leeds United, everything they do is just infuriating. The chance, like I said, the manager, the style of football, the fact that everyone loves them for some reason. That's why I think loads of people are saying, it's not a red. No, it's fine. It's because it's Liverpool and we like Leeds. So let's just back Leeds for a minute. Leeds United, the most overrated team in the country. Football personality, fans, whatever you want to say about Leeds, is so overrated. And that is a red card all day long. And if there's a way to do it above a red card, do it. Put him in prison. I mean, he's 18 years old. I can't even enjoy the fact we won 3-0 today. And that's what annoys me the most.
In terms of the listen, I understand the frustration. I do. I think it's a red card because at the end of the day, I don't think it's a tackle we see regularly. You are going to see Liverpool players jump in from behind like that in your next game. You will see it happen. I understand it. Will. No, you'll see tackles from behind by all players. Fullbacks are notorious for it. You will see it. Do you think the tackle in itself was a problem, or the way he lunged into it, or the mistiming, or do you actually just think if you tackle someone from behind, it should just be an instant red card, whether you break the player's leg or not? What are you actually saying here, Sonny?
It depends how you go in from behind, because if you're in a position where you know you can't really seriously injure from going in behind and you're in a good position to make that tackle, that's to an extent that's okay. But he had no right to go in from behind then. It's the fact where he literally seen what happened to Harvey Elliott. This is what annoys me more. He went in from behind. He's seen Harvey Elliott screaming on the floor. He's seen him and just walked away saying, no, it's fine. No, that's not a yellow. That's not a red. That's fine. Just play on, ref. Salah has to come over and say there's something wrong just for that. That is a red card every single day of the week. And like I said, a red card it doesn't do justice.
It's interesting. I mean, listen, a lot of people are disagreeing with you in the comments in relation to that. You wanting to get more than a 3-game ban. You're saying more than 3 games.
I'd give him a season ban. It's the fact that he's 18 years old. He knew exactly what he was doing. And when you can see on the camera angles on TV afterwards, he's like, oh no, what have I done here? What have I done here? He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew the player he was going into is literally a kid. That should make it illegal in itself. And then the challenge on another question, it's just, I cannot believe he's had the nut to even try and do that.
I get the frustration. I do. I really do get your frustration. We have a super chat here from Alpha that says, well done to Salah for alerting the medic so quickly and showing immediate concern. It's a simple behavior, but so important. Gutted for Elliott in relation to that. I mean, the comments are, do think you're overreacting. They do think you're overreacting. They do think you're going a bit, season bans, being arrested and everything else in relation to that. In terms of the rest of your performance, though, Mo Salah with the 100th Premier League goal, how happy are you with his performance today?
I need the dictionary to do something to the word consistent. You go in the dictionary, you go on the word consistent. Mohamed Salah should be the 2 words underneath that. I mean, this guy, I feel it's a fact. If we're talking about Premier League wingers in the Premier League era, he tops that list above anyone. Ronaldo, whoever's on that winger list, Salah's right at the top of it. I've never seen a player in my life, barring Cristiano Ronaldo, barring Messi, to put those numbers up for one club consistently. Salah is, for me, the most underrated player in the league. And the fact that he's so rated just shows how good he is. He's so rated, but he's still underrated. That's how good Salah is. And the fact it's 100 goals, 100 Premier League goals. He's probably averaging minimum 25 goals a season for Liverpool. And I believe that's right. I think it's actually more. This guy is just... He's the face of the Premier League. He's literally, for me, probably revolutionised football if we're talking about stats. I know Messi and Ronaldo are also on the side, but Salah's he's just a second to none, barring Ronaldo and Messi right now. And there's no debate about it. He's the face in terms of brand, the stats. And when you're an attacker, stats are what matters. I hate people say stats don't matter. If you're an attacker, output and stats should be the only thing that does matter.
Sonny, we'll get you back on with the panel a little bit later on in the show, mate. Stay backstage for me. Viewers, smash that like and share button. The link is pinned to the live comment section. We want to hear from you, but we've got to get this past 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Support the terrorists today in our endeavours. Next on the show, we're going to go to Zane. Zane is a Liverpool fan. He's back with us. What you saying, mate?
What's that Liverpool fan's name? Dummy or something? What's his name?
Sonny.
More like Dummy, because This young kids don't know what the hell they're talking about. He didn't go through the back of him. He went through the side of him, stretched his leg out, and I replayed it on Sky backwards to see what actually happened. His trailing foot landed on the guy's ankle. He didn't go through the person, through the leg. He put his body to the side of the ball, dragged it back, but then his standing leg landed on the guy's ankle, and then obviously it happened. So these fools annoy me because now, because of these idiots like that on internet, that poor player is going to get bare hate for what? I understand why it was a red card because of the force and the outcome of the injury. But like you said, 5 minutes later, same kind of challenge. The only difference was the guy's standing foot didn't land on the guy's ankle. Do you get me? And there was an issue. But fools like this need to just shut up, man, because these young kids like this don't know what they're talking about, and it's annoying me, and it's embarrassing as well because they're going where. Check it. You probably even rewind or look at the internet properly. You even put the picture up to try and help the guy out, and it clearly showed in the picture you put up. He didn't go through the back of him like this man was chatting. So fools like that need to shut. Exactly. See that? Look, how's it go through the back of him? He's on the side of him. He put his body in between him and the ball because Elliott allowed a bit of gap, and the guy took the opportunity to put his leg in between him and the ball, and it was that back foot that landed.
I agree where you're coming from. I think it's a red card because it has happened. I remember my brother at Sunday League breaking a player's leg fairly similar to this. And my brother made a really good sliding tackle. And he didn't go through the guy. He wins the ball with his front leg. Yeah. And then my brother's trailing leg catches the guy's standing leg and it broke. He got sent off for it. But I remember the manager of the opponent's team saying, I felt a bit sorry. Like, went up to my brother and said, I feel really sorry for you because you didn't do anything wrong. But these things happen. I think season-long bans and being arrested is just Sonny being really emotional.
Yeah, dummy needs to shut up with that stuff. Dummy, shut up, man, and just fucking
listen. We'll get you back on again, Zayn, on the panel very, very soon. Stay backstage for me, top man. We want to get more of your calls today, ladies and gentlemen. We want more of your. Listen, I can keep sitting here and giving opinions, but this is your phone in. It's my stream, but it's your show. Phone in now to have your say. Next up, we're gonna go to Marvin. Marvin's here to have his say with us. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, Terry, you're right.
I'm very, very good. Give me, who do you support and what do you want to say?
Terry, I support Man United, man.
Lovely. What do you want to say, Marv?
Yeah. I was going to add to this guy's input just now that the previous guy before Zayn. He said he was stressing about Harvey Elliott being 18. Of course, he's 18, but he's playing immense football. So, because he's 18, should he not be tackled? That tackle, for me, 100%, I don't think it's a red card. Even the pundits on TV, they did say it. It's a missed tackle. It's a mistimed tackle. Unfortunately, the guy got injured, but I don't really think that was a red card. It's because of the injury, the weight of the injury. That's why the referee made that decision, and VAR don't want to overturn it because they know for sure if they have to get involved, it should have been a yellow card. Just that. Though I'm sorry for Harvey Elliott who is injured, So it's one of those things. But from I don't really.
I hear you, Marvin, brother. Listen, I'll let you shoot off, my friend. Thanks for coming on, having your say. Top man. Thank you very much indeed. Come on and have your view and your opinion. We're talking Mo Salah on the show later. Of course, dominating the proceedings is this big red card decision. We're giving you the chance to have your say. Comment here from Juan, who says, stop Mo Salah is a job done winger. Won't be anything to the big boys. Man City, Chelsea, or Liverpool couldn't score on a 10-man. Chelsea is what Juan's got to say. Juan having a pop there at Mo Salah. Let's get this stream past 1,000 likes, ladies and gentlemen. There's over 2,000 of you watching, so get it smashed right now. Share this stream. Next on the show, I'm going to go to Tim Farrow's here to have his say. He's shaking his head at the last caller, so I need to get Tim on now. What are you saying, Tim?
First of all, Terry, I'd just like to say amazing show. It's my first time on the terrace. Been watching you guys for ages, so thanks for having me on.
Not a problem, give me your thoughts.
Well, I'm a football fan first, United fan second, Terry. And some of the decisions that I've seen the last 2 seasons have been, quite frankly, ridiculous. This is a contact sport. It's not a no-contact sport. And unfortunately, injuries are part of the game. Now, I don't know if anybody noticed, but when the referee saw the tackle, he played on. Salah then gave like a really big reaction as to what was happening in front of him. So the referee stopped the game, came over, did not have a look at all at the monitor or anything like that. Now, so because he was playing on and then stopped the game, you can see Klopp go up to him and he's giving him loads, and I mean loads, enough to easily be sent to the stands. Like if that was another referee, say manager, say Jose Mourinho, he'd have been sent to the stands no problem with what Klopp was doing. After that, the referee then goes and books him and sends him off. Like, we've got to be unbiased in our approach to how we handle managers. And I just think that no media outlet will pull on the fact that what Klopp did was influence the referee's decision, in my opinion.
Tim, listen, you're entitled to. I understand why Jurgen Klopp did it. Jurgen Klopp, he's just seen one of his starlets, one of his young players. We know they've got this thin squad, Liverpool, and that'll be in his mind as well. That's a player pretty much gone for the season now. You've got the Nabbies and the Oxes who are. So I get why his frustration is there, but you think if you're saying that if Jurgen Klopp hadn't of sort of reacted the way he did and got in the ear of the ref, you don't think a red card would have been issued?
Well, he doesn't stop the game, does he? He plays on. So, in my opinion, the referee must have thought it was a legal tackle.
There we go, Tim. Thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Top man. Thank you very much indeed. The lines are open. Phone in now and have your say. The StreamYard link is available. Next on the show, we've got man like Rack here. Panel coming later. We will be discussing Mo Salah's 100 Premier League goal record as well. Rack is in the house. Rack is a Liverpool fan. Give me your thoughts. The Harvey Elliott conversation is dominating right now. Some saying it was a red, others saying it wasn't. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't really want to get involved in the debate about whether it was a red or wasn't. It's just really sad to see Elliott in that position because he's a young player. He's had a really positive impact since he's come in. I don't think any Liverpool fan expected him. But regardless of whether he's a great player, poor player, young player, old player, it's just a shame to see him in that position. I broke my leg playing football in Romford in East London on Sunday League. I hope it wasn't your brother, by the way, but
I don't think it was. I was there, so I'd remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I broke my tibia in 2 places and my fibula in 1 place, and he's pretty much going to be out for the rest of the season. All the stuff about the squads and all that kind of stuff, it's just really unfortunate because he's been really good for us, and it's just a shame to see a young player kind of cut off in his prime to some extent. But hopefully he'll come back strong. He's got a good mentality. He's made mistakes in the past, but every young player makes mistakes. Like people need to chill out with that kind of stuff. And we see old players. I mean, older people make stupid mistakes, even more stupid mistakes than posting about silliness about Harry Kane. So yeah, my main thing is just wish him the best. Hope he comes back. Firstly as a person in the same way, because different people react to different injuries in different ways. And then obviously if he when that's ready, that he comes back gets back to the same level. But yeah, sad day.
I hear that completely. Rack, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Top man. Thank you. Next on the show, Ramel is here with us. Ramel, what you saying, buddy?
Good, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect, bro. Give me your take on what's being discussed today.
I was happy with the performance, a bit marred by the injury and whatnot. An initial glance, for me, it looked like a decent challenge. But obviously, with the situation that happened after, I agree with Rack. I don't really want to debate whether it's a red or not, because sometimes it gets given, sometimes it's not. Shawcross on Ramsey, Pickford on Van Dijk. One was given, one was not. Do you get my gist? But the last thing I wanted to say was, I need Liverpool fans to try to stick together, if you know what I mean. And in terms of, because I don't personally agree with Sonny's opinions every time, because I think he's very outlandish with some of his opinions, but he's entitled to his opinion. Do you get what I mean? What I don't want to see personally is Zayn being very patronizing, because I think it's unnecessary in a time like this. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know either of the brothers. Do you get what I mean? But I'm just trying to say, as a collective, Liverpool, we need to stick together, try and move forward, and hope Harvey Elliott has a good recovery. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, listen, I totally get that. And look, every fan's going to look at this from a different angle and talk about it in a different way. I kind of do feel like the debate around whether it is or isn't a red is important. And the reason I say that is because we will see that tackle tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, and in every Champions League game this week, and in every Premier League game. And go on, mate, go on.
I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying that the outcome of whether it's going to be a red in the future will change. Do you get what I mean? So, like how I gave 2 examples. So when Van Dijk got injured by Pickford, that wasn't a red given to Pickford. And at the time, during the game, I was angry. I was vexed the whole game, but it wasn't given. So then when Shawcross broke, I think, Ramsey's leg, he was sent off, to my recollection. If I'm wrong, please say. But you know what I mean? So what I'm saying,
I think breaking of bones, interestingly, can sometimes be a better injury than a cruciate ligament or something like. In terms of, I've heard doctors say that actually sometimes a clean leg break is, you never want any. You don't want a leg break or a cruciate ligament, but actually a leg break can be a better of the 2 injuries. But I think there's something emotive and something about, because I think it's the visual thing. You see the bone out or the leg in the wrong direction. I think it impacts everybody, including the referee's mind, so much more than a cruciate ligament injury. It really does. Even with, like, when Mane got sent off for the high boot against Henderson, if Henderson's face hadn't been slit open and blood everywhere, there would have been a different reaction to it, no doubt. Ramel, great
and
call,
in that
mate.
moment,
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Top man, thanks. Go on, mate. Make your last point. Make your last point. Go on, bro.
I was gonna say, in that moment as well, when Mane did that, I was like, we lost 5-0. It's not good, but it was a red. It's reckless, that's what they've seen us. But yeah, thanks for having me again, Terry. Enough blessings.
No worries, bro. Take care, Mo. Take care. Thank you very much indeed. Maria Williams here says, do you think the one that Son got a red card on Gomez, that should have been rescinded? Well, Son's one was interesting because it wasn't, again, I don't think it was yes and no. Like, yes, Gomez broke his leg, but it wasn't the tackle. It was almost, if I remember rightly, wasn't there like a bit of a challenge or a nudge in the back, and then he slid and he crashed into somebody else, and that's where the leg break happened. So you may find that Pascal has this red card overturned because they may look at it, and I'm not trying to sound insensitive here, but they'll look at it and say that tackle is happening in every game. We can't just, unless they want to make it a rule that it's only a foul if a leg break happens or a cruciate ligament injury happens, or what if it's an injury that just takes a player out for a game, the rest of that game? Should that be a red card? That's the problem you have with allowing it to be a red card, and then there being 30 tackles like it next weekend, is it sets a bad precedent. So that's going to be interesting to see. I got a sneaky feeling it might be rescinded. Tom Little was on the show next. Panel coming very soon, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like and share button. Tom's here with us now. What do you want to say, mate?
First of all, get well soon, Harvey Elliott. Heartbreaking injury. It's so hard to break into this Liverpool team, especially in the midfield where, you need to be hard working, but you need to be great on the ball. He's broken in at 18. Gutted for him. Hope he recovers quickly. On the game, great performance. Leeds on an easy team, especially at Ellen Road, and we made it look easy. But we can sit here disappointed that we didn't win by 5 or 6. Sadio Mane, I don't get how you missed so many chances. Come on. I mean, some of them were absolute sitters.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised by it because I've seen this version of Sadio Mane before. It happened right when Salah came in. That's the difference between Salah and Mane. I'm not trying to say one's better or one's not, because I'm not getting into that debate. They're both quality. But Mane is a confidence player. Salah doesn't need confidence as much. If Mane's confidence is sky high, you're getting 2-3 goals every week. Whereas Salah consistently gets you 1 to 2 to 3 every week. Salah's consistency is ridiculous. Entered the Premier League 100 club for a winger. I think he did it in 168, 169 games. Ridiculous. Yeah. 5th quickest player to ever do it. Put some respect on his name. One of the greatest to ever do it in the Premier League. Got to appreciate that. Van Dijk is so effortless. Joel Matip, brilliant. But my man of the match has to go to Fabinho. Best DM in the league. He is. It's just a stone cold fact. Not only did he score a goal today, but the way he broke up play, Leeds are very dangerous on the counter-attack. And the amount of times Phillips or who's the other centre mid, I can't remember. They try and thread the through ball through to Bamford or Harrison or Rafinha, and you just see this leg stick out and stop it, and the attack restarts again for us. He's ridiculously good for Fabinho. And the entire team played well. It's marred by the injury, but as a performance, that's what we want to see for the future.
And it was very good indeed. There is some information that's coming through now from across social media. It varies depending on what outlet, but what they are reporting now is it appears to be a dislocated ankle with a possible fracture. Of course, more investigations need to be done. I'm not a medical expert, so I'm not going to say whether that's bad or worse or whatever it may be. But what's just been, I'm seeing a number of tweets come out about it and people messaging me saying it. Very fortunate. It looks like it isn't. Right now, that they don't think it's a break as such. It's more like dislocation. They've still got, of course, check whether there's been any damage to ligaments, and because that can often be the worst thing.
That'll be the killer. That'll be the killer.
And that's I'm a friend of mine when he broke his shin. He broke both the bones in his leg. I don't remember which. I think he broke both. Thai boxing. That wasn't the worst part of his injury. It was as he stood down and his ankle went. He ruptured his Achilles and his ligaments in his ankle. That took him a lot longer to recover from than the actual fracture in his leg. So, so some information coming out about that now. My hope is that's positive news. I'm sure it is positive news. I don't want to jump the gun because as I say, I'm not a medical expert. So that is very good news. It sounds like it's good news. Someone here says dislocation is worse. As I say, I'm not going to assess that because I don't know. I'm going to wait to hear that from experts. Monster here says this is why we needed to buy someone. An injury like this thins our squad down. Great win, but teams like Leeds play into our hands. It's the teams that sit back and defend. I hope Elliott gets better. Is that a concern for you? And again, when these bad injuries happen, and this one's because of the visual element of it, we always feel like it's worse. Mm-hmm. But whether it's broken legs, ankle, knee ligaments, bad head injuries, neck injuries, when Liverpool suffer these, like, how does it make you feel from a point of view of squad size? Is it something that now makes you worry because he's playing ahead of Naby and the Ox. They're both massively injury prone. Like, is that a concern now? Because this is a legitimate hole now until January.
In a way, yes, but in a way, no. I've seen Naby's been different. I think Naby can make it to January without suffering any injuries. My biggest issue today in terms of squad depth was the attack. Oxlade-Chamberlain was brought on to replace Diogo Jota, and he played 10 minutes and dropped a 0 out of 10. Honestly, it was embarrassing from him. And I get it's not his position, and we shouldn't be asking a central midfielder or a wing back is what he was best at to play up front, because there's no good movements. He ended up blocking one of our own crosses. He was lazy, wouldn't try and win the ball back. He's not a striker. He should not be first choice. He should not be second choice. Arsenal fleeced us with that 40 million. He was good until the injury, and I'm gutted about that. But we have to cut our losses. He was not good enough. The Elliott injury is gutting, but we have decent enough midfield depth to cover us till January. I hope that FSG, though, when we get there, don't do what they done last January and went, we'll give you 3 million as a stopgap. No, you buy the player now, because I don't care. Players want to come to Liverpool Football Club, and they don't care if it's in the summer or January. They want to join now. So if you have to pay an extra £5 million premium, pay it. Because I tell you what, ever since the Champions League, when you must have made a hell of a lot of money to afford another £5 million to cover us, because it's what we'll need.
I hear you on that. Listen, we'll get you back on with the panel really, really soon. Top man, Tom, thank you very much indeed. Super Chat here says, to me, the decision should be based on the tackle and not the result. Either way, I think if the ref had gone to the monitor first, it would have at least seemed he judged the tackle and not the situation. And I respect that opinion. And I agree with the first part. Should it be for the severity of injury or should it be for the tackle? You will know the way I work as a person. I don't care which one it is, just as long as there's consistency in its approach. So if we decide from today's football that it's about the tackle, then we just outlaw those tackles. My team's an attacking team, so we have far more of those tackles done against us than we issue them out. So I'm happy for it. A dislocation is worse only because of the fact that you have to worry about the possible nerve damage, and that could accompany that type of injury. There we go. A bit of education for us there. Paul Burke says, Terry seems to be the only rival supporter who is worried about Liverpool's injuries. Weird. I don't think it's weird for me to worry about your injuries. I think your injuries could be a big, big problem for you, Paul. You clearly don't think they're going to be. Only time will tell. No one wants you to suffer with injuries. But as I said at the beginning of the season, you're far more likely to suffer with injuries in a season than not to get any. Why do we know this? Because everyone gets injuries every single season. We're going to bring the panel back on now. I know there's more of you waiting to come on backstage. We're going to be getting Zane back on, Tom's on, Sonny's on. We're going to be getting Ram on. We will be taking some more calls in the show as well. So stay backstage if you want to come on and have your say. Hit that like and share button. We're going to discuss the tackle, and we're going to ask that question to all the panel. Should it be the tackle or the severity of injury that creates the card? We are going to talk Mo Salah and how good he is, and we are going to speak about the squad depth now at Liverpool after this injury. What do they want to see happen in January? Are they concerned or not? Smash that like and share button. The panel are here now, people. Let's do this. I had a mare. I had an absolute mare. I was missing my buttons. I wasn't getting all the buttons hit at the right time, so I couldn't get everybody in. Gents, welcome back to the show. I know Ram's just here with us. We're going to take some more calls a little later. 4 Liverpool fans here with me. A bittersweet day. A bittersweet day for you all. A really good 3-0 victory in the Premier League, but of course marred by the unfortunate injury of Harvey Elliott. And I want to ask that question, first of all, not to beat that drum too much on that conversation because we've been on it now for 45 minutes. But Ram, in your opinion, should it be the tackle that's given a red card, or should it be the severity of the injury? What do you think referees should be judging this type of situation on?
First of all, I want to quickly say get well soon, Harvey Elliott. It's a very, very tough injury. My main concern about that injury is that it could have that once he's done it, it's going to be a lot easier to dislocate it again, which is not ideal for a young lad like him. But on the question on the tackle, I feel sorry for the defender because the defender's job is to tackle someone, and it was his sort of trailing leg kind of thing. So I think it's down to the tackle. For me, it's harsh. It's very harsh in a defender's mind. It's very, very harsh. But that's my opinion. I don't know what to say because
can I say something on that?
The injury is severe. That's what I say.
Yeah, go on, Sonny.
That picture is bollocks. That picture is absolute bollocks. It shows where he's going in on the tackle. It looks like it's one side. If it looks like it's so one-sided, I know, Terry, can't play the video, but I'm sure you lot have seen it on the panel, whoever's watching. I'm sure you've seen the video. His other leg turns out on the other side of Harvey Elliott's body. Please tell me how you can put that sort of challenge in on a football player, let alone an 18-year-old. I'm not even saying this because he's 18. I'm not saying this, look ahead of you, look, he's 18. Don't play tackling. It's nothing like that. You're
Sonny, I get your point, but maybe we can do this on the terrace when you come on. If I see a Liverpool player make a similar tackle next week, irrespective of the outcome, will you call for a red card?
Yes, and I'll tell you why, because it's very rare you're going to see a Liverpool player put in a challenge like that.
I mean, you can't tell that. You can't say that.
You can't.
You can't say that because it can happen to anyone. Any one defender can make a challenge like that, and their trailing leg will buckle with the other play's leg.
When it
you
happens,
can't say categorically.
When it happens, I'll call it out.
No, you can't say categorically that our defenders won't be making those stupid challenges because it's not a stupid challenge.
It's a stupid challenge.
It's not a stupid challenge.
Look. Can you mute this guy for a minute? Because I've watched the video. I've actually rewinded and watched that video while
you should know then.
And exactly, that's what I'm saying. You should know that because basically what the guy did was he put his leg in between the ball and Harvey Elliott, and then as he put his leading foot down to trap the ball, which he did, the momentum of him putting his foot in the ground swung his body, and his trailing leg, as it swung, landed on the guy's ankle.
That's no excuse. That's no excuse.
And that's what's wrong with your head, man, because it wasn't intentional. He clearly did a good challenge. Only put what stopped that challenge from the good challenge?
It can only be intentional.
Let me talk for once, man. Look, dummy, can you let me talk?
It is only intentional.
Can you meet the brother? Because how can I make the point?
My cousin's dyslexic. He can come up with something better than dummy.
Can I make my point then?
Okay,
can I make my point?
Sonny, sorry, Zane, but hold back on the personal slurs,
okay. Let me make the point then, mate. Basically, if his trailing leg didn't land on Harvey Elliott leg, we wouldn't be talking about this. Right? It wasn't intentional. It's just a freak accident that happened in the challenge, as Terry said about when he saw his brother had to do something similar. It wasn't, oh yeah, I'm going to take the guy out and injure him. It was a few centimeters. If his trailing leg landed a few centimeters the other way, we would not be talking about this, right? So exactly. You need to calm it down a bit because all this kind of you're just feeling people giving this poor defender hate because that's unfair, and that's why I'm coming so strong at you because you don't understand how you're coming across.
I think we don't live in a world with ifs and buts, though, isn't it? It's a shame that his leg didn't land on his ankle, but we're in the world where his leg landed on the ankle because he put himself in a position to do so.
Listen, we could talk about this until the cows come home. I know more and more people want to come on and have their say. There's still such a divide. There's such a divide. My view is just this. I know what's going to happen. I remember when the West Ham player got sent off last year for clearing a ball. And as he booted the ball clear, his studs came down on someone. He got a red card. And I remember people saying it is a red card because his studs are still high. And it was like, well, every shot that's ever made, every clearance ever made, your studs show, because you can't kick a ball without your studs showing. It just so happened that somebody's movement into him just meant that there was this almost perfect timing where it looks like a foul in slow motion. And the one thing I would say, I understand why the red has been given. The problem that I've got with this is that we're going to see the tackle tomorrow night in another game. I mean, I've just seen the tackle again here, the one that Cooper made on Mane a few minutes later. The point is, Sonny, why wasn't a foul given and a red card issued for the same tackle 5 minutes later?
Why do you think I attacked Leeds at the start? Rather than talking individually about the tackle, I attacked Leeds at the start of the stream. I went in for Leeds as a club because they're literally trained to do tackles like that.
So you don't make... I swear I've seen Trent and Robbo make tackles from sort of the side, stroke behind.
No, Terry, hang on. You've seen the video of Van Dijk clearing out Dries Mertens and the way he tackled, the leg flipped like that.
Awful tackle.
Ankle. Yeah, it happens. You can't just say Leeds. It's all Leeds. They're trained to do it. Everyone makes a tackle like that.
What it shows is you've had to throw it back to about 2 years for a Liverpool player to give an example of that sort of tackle. That's what it shows there. We didn't play Napoli for about 2 years. I know exactly what game.
I think Trent did it against Arsenal as well.
Sonny, how much money do you have?
What do you mean?
I'm going to go into Y-Scout because Y-Scout has, over the last 6 years, I have every single tackle that a Liverpool player has made on file, video footage. If I find one within 10 minutes of you making a tackle like that, how much are you going to donate to charity tonight?
What time span are you talking about?
Any point in the last
Rams just gave an
games.
example. It's not a Liverpool thing. It's not a bias thing. Anyone who makes that tackle, I will criticize it. I will come out and say that's an awful tackle.
But you've been on this show after dozens of games, and I've never heard you moan about anyone. Them tackles happen in every game, but I've never heard you mention it before.
Every single match reaction I was on, look at a game. If there was a bad tackle and I've not mentioned it, fair enough. But you will not find a stream where I was on and it's been a bad tackle like that, and I've not discussed about it, saying how bad it is.
Fair enough. We're going to move this on. Because we could talk about it all day. There's a comment here that says, Sonny, you are too extra. I've seen Fabinho, Thiago, Hendo, Van Dijk all make tackles like that in the past. It was a red, but not something outrageous, is what Aaron's got to say. We're going to add Conroy to the show now as well, who's just joined us. I do want to speak about another subject, though, tonight. I do want to speak a little bit about a positive here. I want to speak about Mo Salah. He's joined the 100 Premier League goal club. I'm going to go to Sonny first on this one. How good, in your opinion, is Mo Salah? And do you think he gets enough respect?
He gets nowhere near enough respect. And I said this at the start of the stream. He gets a lot of respect, but it shows how good he is. When you get a lot of respect and it's still nowhere near good enough. For me, he's the best Premier League winger of all time. If we're talking about Premier League span, better than Ronaldo, better than any other winger who's played in the Premier League. Salah is the man for that. If we're talking about output and stats, which is all it should come down to when you're an attacker, because output is what matters. There's no other stat to look at when you're an attacker other than output and stats in terms of goals and assists. He tops everyone barring Ronaldo and Messi to that. So that shows he's at the top of the list of players. He's going to be remembered as an icon. I don't know why he doesn't get the respect.
I'm sorry to do this. I'm sorry to do this. I will go back to you on this. The first slide tackle I checked that Liverpool made, that I found come across, was against Leeds at the back end of last season. And I can't play the video clip. But what you can see is Trent Alexander-Arnold going in from behind after... I'll drag it so we can see it. See the ball's there. He goes in from behind and wins the ball. And look what his trailing leg does. His trailing leg catches the Leeds United player.
Okay. Let me tell you something.
Is that a red card, in your opinion? When that happens, is that a red card?
It can only look as a red card to the referee if something bad happens, but most of the time something bad will happen. That's the point. If nothing bad happens, the referee won't bat an eyelid. That's not my choice. That's not even my opinion to have. I didn't even watch that game, so I wasn't even recognised about that.
We are going to move on. I just wanted to literally. It was the first one I clicked on, and I was like, it's not exactly the same tackle. You're never going to find one identical, but it's the same lologic. Mo Salah.
He's not going to understand the logic, bro. So let's move on to Mo Salah, man.
I've already understood it.
Mo Salah, Zayn. Like, how good a player is he in your opinion, and how much respect should he be given?
Do you know what? The thing for me, right, is that I want to go on all these Liverpool fans, right? Because I don't care. You can start being triggy now, start chatting in the comments chat, right? But all the energy they had for Mo Salah after that first year, right? When he banged out the first year and the second year wasn't good. Oh, he's too selfish. And it was his Mane fanboys out there, right? Where's the energy for Mane now? Because the amount of abuse that Liverpool fans, our own fans, were giving Mo Salah, he's too greedy, he's too selfish, he don't pass, all he cares about himself, blah 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 blah. All those years, right? 2-3 years it was going on. It was all Mane this, Mane. Mane was, nothing. No one could do no wrong. Where's the same energy for Mane? Because I'm telling you, brother, that guy should have had at least a hat-trick today. And it's embarrassing that if Salah did the same thing, he would have been so abused by the fans. Yeah, I don't hear no energy towards Mane. So from my point of view, I want to get that across because there's a lot of hypocrites out here that gave Mo Salah years of stick. And now Mane's not been falling for 2 seasons now. Not 1, 2. So, you can't say, oh, yeah, see him next season. Where's the energy, bro? Because I said from day one, Salah was a great. And let's be honest, if you saw the stats on Sky Sports, he reached 100 goals just 2 games behind the GOAT, Henry or something. And obviously his Chelsea career is included in that as well, which is a shame. Do you know what I mean? Because he probably would have beaten Henry to the 100 if he didn't even go to Chelsea. So, there's not. I don't want to say too much about Salah because everyone knows how good he is now, and it's funny watching all his fans all quiet now. Where's the energy for Mane? That's all I've got to say about how great Salah is. Because
ideally, I
Mane
don't
is
want
getting that energy. Mane is everyone is disappointed with Sadio Mane today and last season. He's not been scoring enough. His touch is awful. He can't finish. So to say he hasn't been getting that energy.
Not to that level, Tom. Not to that level. Not to the level that Salah was getting. Trust me, it was like deep for Salah.
But Zayn, if you're one of the best players in the world, you're gonna get disrespect from anyone. It could be burner accounts. It could be anything.
From your own fans, bro. Your own fans, bro. Come on, man. That's a bit disrespectful now because I'm calling out the Liverpool fans. Forget the other fans.
Obviously.
I'm telling you now, right? As a Liverpool fan, the people used to look at me like, "What? You're a Salah fanboy. What's wrong with you?" Like, honestly, I'm telling you that 2-3 years ago, people used to give me that look like, "What? How can you be a rating bigging up Salah?"
I want to interject here. I know it's a Liverpool chat, and I'm hosting this, so I want to let that play out for a bit. We're trying to talk about. I understand you're frustrated that you feel some Liverpool fans have given Mane a bit of a pass where they've been on Salah's back, but we're trying to celebrate how good Mohamed Salah is here. And I'm a Man United fan, but I have such tremendous respect for Mo Salah. I think people that say I hear people say his technique isn't good. He hasn't got a lot of skill, a lot of technique. I think he's sublime. Like I watch him play, and I don't see this. Like I've got a right back at my club that looks really awkward when he tries to dribble and run with the ball. He sometimes reminds, do you know what I mean? But he ain't one of them. He is agile when he moves. Is he as good as Hazard when he dribbles? No, but his overall game is better than Eden Hazard's. He's one of the most potent goal scorers in the history of the Premier League. He's a Premier League and Champions League winner since coming to the actually officially he has 2 Premier Leagues because he did actually get a medal for one with Chelsea, if we're going to be really kind of anal about it. Conroy, from your point of view, where do you regard Salah? Forget Liverpool. Where do you regard him in terms of Premier League attackers, forwards, goal scorers, history wise? Where does he sit right now for you?
I think it's absolutely right up there, Terry, to be honest, because at the end of the day, you talk about the stats to get into the 100 club, and he's probably the only one who's played on the right-hand side a lot. I'd say predominantly on that list, all of them are number 9s. And yes, don't get me wrong, Salah is a fluid front 3 at times, but a lot of the time he's at the right. So for him to get that, forget the amount of games he's done it in, but for him to just get in the 100 club is amazing in itself. And he's going to continue with this rate. As Sonny said earlier, he's probably going to hit about 20. A kind of low season for Salah will be about 20 goals this season. He's going to hit that. And I've got to be honest, by the time he ends his Liverpool career, there's going to be a lot of arguments for it because just like you said, he might not look on the eye like Hazard, but his effectiveness is second to none. He's so consistent. It just works very well with the system we play. And I look at it and he's competing with number 9s, but equivalently, yes, he's an inside forward, and he's not a 9 as well. And I think I just wanted to add, see the goal today, the happiest I was for the goal today was, to me, that's him learning as well. Not learning is the wrong word, but at times it's like he was in a centre forward position there as Trent was playing that, keeping himself on side, and it looks simple, but to me I feel like he's still in developing parts of his game to even make him more ruthless, because I think a lot of people watch, I don't know if the guys will agree, that I think eventually Salah will probably move more centrally. Not this season, not actually, but I think eventually he will. There's been some people who've said he'll be a 10. Not for me. I don't think he would work well as a 10, but I could definitely see him coming more centrally. And I just feel like You always say the question, Terry, about Gerrard for me is the greatest Premier League player for Liverpool. However, I think when it comes to attacker, I love Suarez, but I think with the numbers and the Premier League he's won and the consistency and longevity for Liverpool now, I think you're going to have to say Salah's probably up there as our greatest Premier League attacker. I think it's very hard to argue with that now.
It's interesting though. We do love a loser in this country, and what I mean by that is some of Britain's like most celebrated like sports stars have never been like the creme de la creme, if that makes it. Like when it got snooker, everyone loved Jimmy White, but he never won a major. We had Frank Bruno that did win a world title, but like was never actually the best boxer in the world, but actually got a lot more love. We've had other legitimate like Joe Calzaghe's that got nowhere near the love. Does that make sense? I'm not calling Frank Bruno a loser per se, but I'm saying in respect to Joe Calzaghe's career, he's a loser. But yet he was more loved and adored. I do sometimes feel some Liverpool fans, there's almost this romantic connection to say a Luis Suarez, because it was almost in that era where you didn't win anything, so you almost had this kind of like siege mentality. It's kind of weird how some people regard him as just a better player.
But he used to do some crazy things, Terry. Like Suarez done stuff I've still never seen since.
Nothing. I get that. But like for me, like Mo Salah's more efficient. And he's won you things which are more tangible, but some people just still like, nah, I'd take Suarez over him any day of the week. And maybe if you're going to swap out, like I'm one of these people. If something's gone very well, I wouldn't change. Like I wouldn't add Gerrard to this team in his pomp, because you have no idea whether it makes it better or worse. You don't know. No, what I mean is, no. You don't know, and that's my point. Like I would never go back and do it over it. I would never go back and be like, do you know what? Should we not sign Ollie and let's sign Alan Shearer instead? But we have to replay all those. I wouldn't go back. I'm happy with what I've got. Does that make sense? If you could go back to 3 years ago with no trophies and say, you don't know what you're going to win, but we'll give you Gerrard instead of Jordan Henderson, would you take the gamble? I don't think you would.
I think I would. I would.
Gerrard over Donkey all day, mate. All day, mate.
Hey, don't do
right.
Don't
Where's this Henderson agenda come from now?
What you mean? You mean Gerrard at the age he'd be at right now? Like
Gerrard
would be very forgetful. I think we're being, but that's like if horses for end of the day. What ifs don't work in my head. I kind of get what Terry's saying there. You've got a system that works. Obviously I'm Gerrard's biggest fan. I'd love to have him in it, but you can't look back at stuff like that. I feel like the system works quite well as well. The centre mids we have, but I'd still probably take a chance on him because I love him, but that's more a personal thing.
Can we talk about another thing about Salah though?
I get why. Go on, mate. Go on. Talk about Salah. Go on.
Can we look about his development, right? Look at the passing today, all right? That goal, he set that offside goal for Thiago.
Aye.
And his passing, right? People disrespect the fact that he's been developing and improving his game over the years as well. Do you get me? And like that pass he did to Mane, where he obviously messed it up with his dodgy first touch when he should have scored, really, because it was a beautiful outside the foot through ball, through nicely to Mane as well. People disrespect the fact that that guy can pass. He's got game intelligence now. He's developed his game to a next level, and people sleep on that and don't give him the credit for that as well, which I think is disrespectful, because people got agenda, but no one can claim now that he cannot, create as well. He's created so many chances.
What I love about Hazard as well, though, where people say, "Oh, Hazard's better because he looks better on the ball." If we actually look at Salah for actually the last 18 months, you look at the chances he creates, the balls over the top, everything he does on the ball now. For me, it's near to what Hazard done. Rather than running at the players, Salah's got a different bit to his game. But if we're looking at who's better and what they do for their own game, Salah, for me, is as good as on the eye than Hazard. I think he's turned into that sort of player. I'd say first 2 to 2.5 years at Liverpool, he was one of those players where it was all stats. He never really looked the best player on the ball. He was more of a box player. But now what we look at him, where he creates chances and what he does in his own game, I mean, it's all aesthetically pleasing. And I think we have to actually appreciate that, and rather than saying wait until he retires and then we can actually appreciate him. Why don't we appreciate him while he actually plays for us? Because for me, he's going to be up there with the Liverpool legends. And for me, you could even debate it whether he's above Gerrard. As a legend of what he's actually done for the club, you could easily put him ahead of Gerrard.
He's not above Gerrard. He's not above Gerrard.
You could easily put him above Gerrard in terms of what he's actually done for the club.
No, you can't.
He has the best Premier League legacy for Liverpool. He has the best Premier League legacy.
See, if you need to go to the specifics you're talking about, this is the point, right? Just for me, Gerrard, what he used to do, the dependency on him, just for me, Mr. Liverpool, that's never going to top. You can get a PowerPoint presentation if you want, but it's never going to
change that. It helps that Gerrard was a Scouser as well. He was one of our own. That helped it as well.
But see, I don't look at that because I'm Scottish, mate. I'm not from Liverpool. So from just the absolute outside point of view, Gerrard for me, I don't care if you're Scouse, Irish. Just for me, the feeling I had with Steven Gerrard, that's never going to be top. The amount of times you had to rely upon him.
Do you know what though, Tom? And doesn't matter whether you're 5 or 50, Scousers will look at him differently because one of our own small
of course.
city.
No, I didn't mean that in a bad way.
I know you didn't. I'll finish the point, and you'll realize I weren't like taking a dig there. All Scousers will have that connection. Small city in comparison to say London, very close knit. We've also got to remember Sonny's age. Most of Steven Gerrard's greatest moments in a Liverpool shirt, Sonny was on his mum's tit. Like he ain't remembering that. He doesn't have. It's true. Like I love and respect.
True. What
Best and Law and Cholton, and then even the guys like some of our good players from the 70s and 80s, even when we were bad, like from Lou Macari, Brian Robson, even some of the early Premier League players that I only slightly remember. My connection to them as players is never going to be as strong because they didn't give me those hair-raising moments. They didn't give me those goosebumps. They didn't make me feel like Salah and Henderson and whoever have made Sonny and his age group feel in this recent time. So, and again, in another 15, 20 years time, let's just say Salah wins another 2 Prems and another Champions League with Liverpool and he's like an ultimate legend. But then in 20 years time, there's a new lad. I don't know what his name is, right? We'll call him Joe Bloggs. And Joe Bloggs is mustard. He's scoring. He's licking it up. You win 3 Premier Leagues back to back. Sonny's sitting on there, do you know what I mean? Still got the same haircut, still got the same green screen. And some young pup comes on, some young buck's on the show. And he's like, oh yeah, Joe Bloggs, best inside forward we've ever had at the club. Sonny like, whoa, Salah. When he was young, he did this, he didn't do that. And you will do that. And do you know why? Because all young people never think they'll act like an older person by saying, no, back in my day, it was different. But every single person does it. By the way, you young'uns that are in here, in about 7 or 8 years' time, you're going to go into a nightclub and be like, oh, my God, everyone's so young. Like, it happens to all of us. I was watching the tennis last night. Big up Emma for what she did. I was watching her and the other girl play, and I was like, I know they're 18 and 19, but I was like, they are like, it's like watching children for me now. I've hit an age where I'm like, you look like kids. It just happens, mate. It really, really does. We want to take some calls before the end of the show today. Someone said, Terry, your analogy isn't working. I didn't give an analogy about wanting Gerrard back. I gave an example. And all I'm stating is I would never undo good history at the risk of it. It's a little bit like if I won £1 million, I said, look, you can gamble and do like a tiebreaker question. If you gamble, you're going to win 5 million. But if you get it wrong, you have nothing. I'm taking £1 million. I'm not gonna risk losing it for a little bit more. Like I'm never gonna do it. That's just me. I get that some of you would. We're gonna take some calls now. We're gonna get Peterson on the line to have his say. We're gonna get Ziad on to have his say. Try and get a few more on as well. There's so many people backstage. It is mad. Since I upgraded this to a corporate account with StreamYard, like it's like sometimes up to 30 people in the back, and I sometimes can't cope with it. I can't even see everyone's faces. It just tells me plus 20 people below all them. So we'll try and get on as many as we can. Smash the like and share button. Let's go. Peterson is here, Liverpool fan. What do you want to say, bro?
Hey, I just want to say I hope like Arvilla is gonna be all right because, like everyone said, he's 18, and that could be an injury that can affect his career forever. So I hope like he's going to be all right for the next years and a few months coming. And I think also like the match was okay. We did well. Regarding Sadio Mane, I think he missed a lot of chances and he needs to do better. But at the end of the day, I believe also that at least he scored, so it's not that bad for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And by the way, for the Gerrard thing, no, I'm sorry, Gerrard will always be the best Liverpool player for me. And you have also to understand the context of Gerrard never played in a Liverpool team that was regarded as the best team in England or in the world. While Salah, yes, for like maybe 3 years, Liverpool was probably the best team in England and maybe in the world. So we have to understand the context of it also.
Yeah, Terry, just on that, do you know what? It's the moments Gerrard's given, like that West Ham Cup final, that volley You know,
Yeah.
last few seconds, that's just stuff that, you know, as a Liverpool fan, that's ingrained now in your psyche. And the Champions League as well. 3-0 down against Milan, and they were the best team in Europe, if not the world at that time. They had some sick players, right? Those kind of memories, until Salah does something mad like that, you know, we can't really compare the two. Unfortunately, whether it's right or wrong,
And I do get that and understand it. I think as we spoke about legacy the other day, sometimes big fish, small pond can also play a part. Gerrard did loads of amazing things, but in an era where quite often you were starving, so it stood out. You know, I would say the last 3 or 4 years, Salah's pomp, you've been almost overindulged with success, comparatively speaking. That isn't to take away from Steven Gerrard, but if you had Mo Salah doing what he's done for you, but in the era where you weren't winning anything, I think his goals would mean even more, because it's almost that silver lining of a grey cloud, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying that's wrong. That's just how things are. It's why Man United fans in the last 7, including me, it's why we've really latched onto the Rashfords and people over the years, because we've had nothing else happening. So it's like, well, I'll celebrate a really good, exciting youngster because that's all we've got right now. It does do it to you. Peterson, top man for coming on and having your say. Appreciate it, bro. Next caller is going to be Ziad. Ziad's a Chelsea fan. What you saying, mate?
Afternoon, all. Yeah, first of all, I think it's important. We can all debate as much as we want, but it's important we say get well, Harvey Elliott. Very bad injury, but I'm going to stick with my opinion that it's not a red card. It's never a red card for me. In my opinion, the only reason it was given a red card is because of how bad the outcome was in terms of his injury. As you guys said many times, the referee had a clear view. He didn't think it was a foul, so he continued. The only reason the game was stopped is because Harvey Elliott got dislocated ankle, and Salah made a call to the medicals to come onto the pitch. That's the only reason, in my opinion. The referee saw, oh no, look what's happened to his leg. Surely it's a red card, even though he originally thought it wasn't even a foul. And in terms of
the ref gave a red.
The ref was given a red anyway. Yeah, it was from the start. He was given a red.
Right, and just in terms of the tackle itself, that tackle happens so many times in football. Literally the same game, the same tackle happened on Mane. The only thing is that Mane's foot didn't get stuck in the grass and he didn't dislocate his ankle. That's the only difference between them two. That's why I don't think it's a red card. And the fact that he's an 18-year-old, there's nothing got to do with it. It's a Premier League. You're playing the toughest, most roughest league in the world. He's not going to not approach a player just because he's 18. He's going to go full, and he went for the ball. He got a bit of the ball, but then the Harvey Elliott's foot got stuck. And that's why it's not. There's so many worse challenges that happen in football, especially in the Premier League, that are not given as a foul, not even given as a card. It happens.
What I can say is, this reminds me of last season, the season before, where Son had the similar situation to him, where he went into a tackle. I think it's Andre Gomez got his leg snapped. He went into a tackle. The referee gave a yellow, but then realized that Andre Gomez's leg got snapped, but it was by accident, and gave him a red. So there is that kind of sort of viewpoint where a referee has changed its mind because of the severity of the action. So I'm not surprised that he gave a red card.
But it's like last. If you go back to last season, on your example though, if Pickford last year had snapped the bone in Van Dijk's leg and the bone was sticking out, he'd have sent him off. Do you remember the tackle Jamie Carragher made on Lewis Nani many years ago? Yeah. He actually gave Lewis Nani 17 stitches in his shin. That's how bad it was. They even showed the cut, and the cut seemed that's a cut. Cuts or unseen injuries don't get the same reaction unless it's a cut on the face. Like if he had a cut on his face that requires 17 stitches, Jamie Carragher's getting sent off. But if Nani's bone was sticking out his leg, it would have just been given as a red card.
No, but you lot are missing the point.
What's the point?
The point is that that does not make the tackle correct. Like whoever said on the tackle Mane earlier, the same challenge, it doesn't make it correct, doesn't make it better. But if the challenge has a worse result, the referee has no choice. You should never go in for the challenge from the first place. That's my point.
No, but you're missing. I'm not saying Sonny, you're missing the point.
You don't go in from it.
Sonny, you're missing the point of the debate. It should that tackle be a red irrespective of the outcome, or only if the outcome is a bad injury. And even then, what type of bad injury, because if that tackle would have ended up with a cruciate ligament injury, I don't even think a yellow card would have been given. So the point I'm making, the point we're making is it the severity or the extremity of the injury, or should the tackle itself just become a red card offense? That's what we're kind of, and even you're not answering that. Like, that's what people are asking. Listen,
I've answered that.
That's what I'm trying to say, Terry. Look, if the same challenge literally happens, the same exact challenge, and Harvey falls on the ground, and he gets and he doesn't falls on the ground, and then nothing happens. There's nothing happens. There's no call. There won't be a card. Nothing. The game will carry on. It's just because he's been screaming. Salah is calling for the medic.
See, I don't know about that. It's a trailing leg is out of control. As much as I don't think he means it, he's put his studs in the back of his calf. Now that I've watched that a few times before I've came on here. That is probably a red card. There's no intent, but as Terry said, intent's never been in the rule book. I don't know why people say that, but as much as I don't think he means it, it's his trailing leg. I play football. I've made that challenge numerous times. The player is obviously, he's not meant to have the trailing leg out of control. It was a bit like Vardy against Stoke a couple of years ago. He was kind of pushed while he was tackling and the trailing leg caught him. But it's still a red card, because even if he doesn't break his leg, he still put his studs on his calf or on the back of his ankle. So that's a red card.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, it was a yellow card that led to a second year. I remember Ander Herrera pressing someone. He went to stop. It was wet. He slipped and took the man out and got a yellow card for it. And it was harsh, but when you read the law of the game, it's like, well, it's still a foul. It's still a foul. Thank you very much for coming on, Ziad, and having your say. I missed a few super chats earlier. First one was from Bashir, who says, remember Son's tackle on Andre Gomez that broke his leg and got a red card. These things happen in football. Get well soon. Elliot. Rapstar says, Injuries are definitely worrying. Seems like Klopp was planning something. Playing Salah and Elliott next to each other has to change his plans now. And listen, aside from the injury and the concern that Klopp will have in that regard, you could clearly see that Harvey Elliott was not only part of the plans, but he was flourishing. And
massive.
If you remove your bias towards Liverpool, if you are a rival fan, that cannot be denied. The Podfather here with a super chat says, Salah has Klopp, Van Dijk, Trent, Robbo, Mane, Fabinho. Gerrard had Benitez and beat, I don't know what that, arguably the best 11 Champions League and won 7 trophies. Ref said play on. We're not going to get into the Gerrard debate again tonight. Just because we did it the other night. It's funny. Sorry, mate. No, we're not going into it just because.
No, I'm not going to come back. I was going to talk about what's going to happen now. Harvey's not gone, because basically I quite enjoyed the right hand side, because Harvey, Trent, and Salah, they had you can see the connection was there. Do you know what I mean? Straight away you can see, and that's why he's playing there now. My concern is Donkey coming in now, and he's going to mess that vibe up.
Allow calling him Donkey, man.
Henderson like that, man.
Hold on. I'm a fan. I've been supporting this club longer than you, man, and I've seen some great midfielders. Souness, McMahon.
Yeah, but that doesn't take anything away from Henderson.
So I have a right to say if someone's not. I have
a captain as well. What's wrong with you, man?
I have expectations of people playing in Liverpool, right? Because I've seen some great teams in the past and some great midfielders, right? And I'm sorry, if a player is declining, I'd rather have someone else in there rather than that declining and it causes a thing. Because I'm sorry, last season I didn't see much from him, and then keep saying he's my captain. My captain.
Oh my life!
And I'm what has he done? What Gerrard moment has he done?
He's not Gerrard.
He's not
Gerrard.
Stop. No, you're not calling him.
Stop.
You're not going to be triggered now. Triggered. And what? He's a donkey.
Guys, everybody stop.
Call him a donkey.
I'm muting everybody because we are at the end of the show and I've got to go. Great conversation. Get well, Harvey Elliott. Congratulations to Liverpool for their victory today. I'm sorry to everyone else waiting backstage. We haven't been able to get you on today. Midnight Vibes is back tonight, so make sure you're tuning in. Big show tomorrow, powered by Bet Victor, reviewing this weekend and previewing the start of the Champions League. Cannot wait. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. Smash that like button before you go. If you're watching over there on Give Me Sport on Facebook, thank you. Make sure that like button's hit. Come and subscribe to us over here at the Football Terrace as well. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all soon.